I don't know where to start. Should I come back later? Do you need help in there? Father? Father? Father?
What was that all about? Well, if I have to ask again, I'm coming in.
What do you mean?
What was all that noise in there? What were you doing?
I don't understand.
There were
I wasn't
voices. You heard them? You must have heard them.
Something, maybe I heard
What do you mean,
something?
Maybe it sounded like someone being tortured.
That's not exactly what it's...
The whole church must have heard it. The whole parish.
It's all right. No one's here. It wasn't that loud.
I don't like being lied to.
I couldn't tell what was going on.
Not here, of all places.
Not entirely, anyway.
You can't come in here seeking absolution.
With nothing I could testify to with confidence.
And then slander the air with lies.
Anyway, I wouldn't stand up in court.
I won't have it. The Lord will not have it. Show the proper respect or get out now. Actually, that's not quite true. I misspoke back there. Liars are welcome here. Thieves and cheats and patrons of unspeakable filth.
I don't understand.
You know what I mean. Our doors are open to clients of every depravity. We embrace them. Otherwise, how can they atone?
I've never heard it expressed that way.
As a good business practice, we should advertise where our customers are. In men's magazines, if that's what they're called. Are such things still printed?
I wouldn't know.
That did not sound convincing. Lying we exclude from the confessional, but not liars. You can say anything here, provided it's true.
Well, so can you.
Watch yourself, young man. I am well aware of my responsibility to the truth.
Don't worry. Your secret's safe with me.
Who are you?
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned.
A lie is a nail in the cross.
I've heard you say that often over the years.
A nail straight through the hand of Christ.
Bring down the hammer.
If you
Father.
should even think of lying here in this sacred box alone with your Maker.
But are you sure I'm alone?
Never more so than when I open a channel for you. You'll get no absolution here if you lie.
Then I will tell the truth.
Proceed.
And I expect the same from you.
That's enough. I am God's representative on earth. Play along, can't you?
I'm letting that sink in.
Take your time. It's a profound concept.
Terrifying action.
And a terrible burden. The Lord does not work through me at all times, you understand. For example, I do not represent God when I'm lathering myself in the shower or poisoning the rats in the vestry. But here in this confessional, when I perform this miraculous function, I am a conduit of the divine.
Lord, save us.
Lord, save us indeed. Who are you, if I may ask?
You may not. I appreciate the anonymity of the confessional. I should think you would too.
I might if it benefited me. You're from the bishop's office.
I've never met the bishop.
You're not an informant.
Why not?
Really? You're a police informant?
No, but why do you assume I'm not? And why would you wonder if I am?
The truth, you said.
I'm not the police informant.
But you know who I am.
I know a little bit.
You see the injustice, don't you? Damn right you do.
What did you say?
Damn right you do.
Well, that seems a little...
Grow up. It's jargon.
Church jargon.
Biblical jargon. The word damn is all over the New Testament. It's everywhere.
You exaggerate.
Have you counted them? 453 times.
That does sound like a lot.
You could double check.
What about the Old Testament?
It doesn't use the word damn once. I'll bet you never noticed that.
How do you explain it?
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, how the hell should I know? Modernists, all four of them, couldn't write their way off an exit ramp. The job was so easy. Tell the life of Jesus. Could you do it? Damn right you could. Divine inspiration gave them the raw material for the greatest story ever told, and they all botched it. 4 versions. Each of them polluted with examples of how you can be born damned, how you can get damned, and how you can stay damned. Well, they won't get another chance. How may I help you, my son? Allow me to intercede.
Is that what you do?
Like nobody else. You're hesitant. I understand. I'm not what you expected, maybe. No matter. I'm irrelevant, or should be. You confess to God, not to me. I witness what you say. I don't judge or absolve. I don't dispense anything. As far as I benefit you, I might as well not even be here, unless you need a fellow sinner as a witness. For that matter, you yourself don't need to be here. You could confess to your bathroom mirror and be absolved on your toilet, as long as your toilet faces the mirror, provided your confession is sincere. 3 Hail Marys and wipe your ass. And if you should die from exertion, you can be off to heaven before you can flush.
A fellow sinner.
Yes, I called myself that. Is that all you heard?
Yeah, it stuck out.
Shall we begin?
Let's start with that. Fellow sinners.
Well, yes, sure. But before we do, a moment's pause. I rarely have an audience as perceptive as you. Would you entertain a question?
1.
You're too generous. Here goes. Why do we think that a deathbed confession is a free pass into heaven?
Do we think so?
Most people do, but it makes the faithful uncomfortable. They wonder, why should lifelong villains be able to grease their way into eternal bliss with a confession in the final minutes, whereas the rest of us...
I see the problem. It feels unfair to people who were good all their lives.
Unfair to them, yes. And the pious complain. But if we give this matter just a bit more thought, and you could do this with me, we could do this together. Are you with me?
You have my attention.
Feels like we're back in class.
It does.
Step 1. There would have to be some conditions, don't you think?
For a deathbed confession. For the magic trick to work.
Precisely. What would be the first condition?
Well, the penitent has to be honest, right?
Good.
And in his right mind.
Perceptive. What else?
The contrition has to be sincere.
Very nice. What else?
You know, the penance must be performed.
From the deathbed on a literal deadline. Yes. What else? Nothing more?
That should do it. But I agree, it doesn't seem fair, but if those conditions are
You
met...
can't think of anything else.
No.
Don't be hasty. Others before you have gotten this close to the full answer. Others with less ability.
I said no.
Do you want a hint?
Do I need one?
Of all the hundreds of dubious decisions we make in a day...
The confession must be complete.
Exhaustive.
Any forgotten sin is a sin that isn't forgiven.
You got it. What are the odds?
Unimaginably small.
Except for the truly saintly
Who
who don't have anything to confess.
That was thrilling.
Did I surprise you?
Well, I'm astounded. But I shouldn't be. Your scholarship is legendary.
Overrated, I'm sure.
I've witnessed it before.
So you indicated.
How? Well, it indicated how?
Just moments ago when you said, and I quote, "I've heard you say that often over the years."
You listen too well.
Just well enough. It's a gift. And a curse.
However,
There is no however. This line of inquiry is complete.
I have a follow-up question.
You're relentless.
It's a gift and a curse.
So ask.
If contrition is so hard,
It is.
and atonement is impossible,
Nearly.
what's the value of confession?
To the penitent? Not much.
Who else would it be for?
Think.
Oh, God doesn't need it. The confessor's a bystander.
So it must be.
The church. Yeah,
Bingo!
yeah, it's a power move that keeps
Keeps you on your knees, begging for clemency. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. How much will it cost me?
Ouch.
That was your confirmation. You've reached the age of reason. And now we begin. How long has it been since your last confession?
One day.
You were here yesterday.
No, but yesterday I made a mortifying self-confession to my mirror, just as you suggested.
Of everything I said, that's what you heard.
Yeah, it stuck out. I was in the kitchen, steaming a lobster. That's diabolical, don't you think? What kind of person brings dinner home alive and murders it in the kitchen? But I excuse it. I excuse myself, mostly. This time, while the lobster was scratching the walls of the steamer, wanting very much to live, I crossed the line. I started entertaining myself with thoughts of slowly torturing someone else. A person.
This was a passing fantasy.
More than that.
A fantasy isn't sinful, not even a morbid one.
This was more. This was premeditation.
Rich with grisly
An
details.
actual plan to torture a particular person.
A person known to you.
A person somewhat known to me.
What sort of torture?
I found out how far joints could be bent without breaking.
And then you backed off.
No.
In what way was your victim known to you?
As a fellow sinner.
And why did you torment him?
To cause him pain. And get him to talk.
What happened when he did start talking?
I couldn't get him to shut up.
This is complex fantasy. Anyway, that must have been very satisfying to you.
You know better.
I do know better.
You've heard hundreds of confessions.
Thousands.
How many have you trusted? He was too good. A liar. I didn't get satisfying answers.
You may remember this from catechism class. If you want better answers, ask better questions. What harm had he done to you, this hostage of yours?
I didn't say it was a him.
But he was, wasn't he? What harm had he done to you?
I didn't say he harmed me.
You said you wanted a confession.
Not about what he did to me. And anyway, I absolved myself. Without coming here, without your blessing. And the lobster was delicious.
I don't think you're telling me everything.
You want better answers, ask better questions.
If all you have to confess is fantasy, why are you here?
I had some questions of my own.
We have a website. What do you want to know?
I needed to see if you were alive.
Me, in particular.
Specifically, you.
I'm in my prime. Why wouldn't I be alive?
No reason. But the same could be said for the lobster who was lured into a trap. Or anyone who entered this box. Or anyone who attended this church. Or served on your altar. Or invited you into their home. My personal opinion.
No, thank you.
Long, slow cooking is the best. Give it a weekend. Raise the temperature by a degree or two an hour and keep the thing alive until Sunday evening. When the priests are done spinning parables and the congregations are home with their real lives, I'm going to savor that 3-day broth and the cleanest, the most guiltless meal I've ever eaten.
Sounds delicious.
You could join me. Bring some melted butter.
I need to know who you are.
You don't. You need to know who you are.
I know who I am.
Good. Good. Set the gas to high. You're a friend to many young men.
I am. Proudly so. Young women, too, young and old.
A confidant.
A mentor.
A counselor to youth with nowhere else to turn.
And you? Were you one of them?
Irrelevant. You made those boys feel special.
I paid attention to them is all.
Well, that was your genius.
That was my vocation. You know yourself, perhaps from personal experience, how youth gravitate to anyone who see them.
They're always seen.
No, they're rarely seen. That's what makes them so convenient. They're looked at, sure, but not seen. Sized up and dismissed. Do you remember what it was like to be judged by everyone all the time for everything, fair or not, by people who never took the time to understand you?
No.
No. And you swore to tell the truth in here. I don't know what your father was like, or your mother for that matter, but it's terrible when they don't see you, isn't it? When no one does.
My mother saw me.
Did she?
Essentially. She got the details wrong, but that was my fault. I hid things I didn't think she'd like.
Why? Would they have frightened her?
They might have frightened someone else, but no. Not her. She was fearless and insatiable. If I shared a few details about my life, she wanted to know it all. I could have handed her Augustine's Confessions and it wouldn't have been enough. She had to own it.
So, what did you hide from her?
You're wondering if I talked to her about you.
Did you?
You're funny.
Why am I beginning to feel like a lobster?
It's gotten you far, that sense of humor, too far. You're clever and wily and wise, and devious, and charming and dangerous, and kind. Actually, truly kind and generous as long as you get what you want.
You think you know me?
I know a little bit.
Before we say anything else, I need to offer you an apology.
A confession.
An apology.
You think I'm going to fall for that?
Stop a minute. Whatever torment or confusion you're feeling right now, I want to apologize for my part in that, if any.
You think I'm confused?
Well, it was worth a shot. It's a big parish with hundreds of families, most of them flavorless, easily forgettable. It's rare to find even one candidate worth pursuing, let alone two under the same roof.
We were in your car.
You'll have to be more specific.
Your vintage 1965 two-door black Buick Riviera Deluxe with the special trim package.
Beautiful car. Big car.
A classic priest's car. The back seat had 2 zip codes.
You were in the back seat.
I observed it. Now do you know who I am?
It's still iffy, but I'm narrowing it down. Thanks for checking in. What did we talk about?
Classical composers.
You've got to be kidding me.
It wasn't my choice.
Wait, did we talk about Oscar nominees?
Why would we talk about Oscar nominees?
I used to have an Oscar party. Some of the boys would come.
I'm going to suggest you say 3 Hail Marys for that.
Yeah. What about your father? Did he see you?
He wanted me to stay out of trouble, not me bailing out.
Did he bail you out often?
He bailed everyone out.
So he was generous and helpful.
Mostly he liked being owed favors. If he hosted an event, everyone in the room was in his debt. He wanted me grown and gone.
So he wanted the best for you?
Sure.
You're not being fair.
Did you know him?
I'm beginning to think so.
Did you owe him
Your
anything?
parents had more than one child.
More than 2.
More than 5.
More than 7.
That's not uncommon in this parish.
It wasn't common either.
No, but not unique.
We talked about a lot of things.
In that big black Buick Riviera Deluxe with a special trim package.
Yeah, but not only there. They were important conversations.
To you.
Important to you, too.
In a different way.
I'll tell you who I am.
You might not have to.
But first, I want to tell you who you are.
I've been waiting for this.
You're a murderer.
If only. Murder is so clean. It may even be a gift to the suffering. I leave my victims standing, sinking, ankle deep, knee deep, up to their necks. I walk away before they realize they'll never find solid ground again.
They don't reach out. They don't complain.
Complain about what? That someone finally took them seriously, let them follow their own hearts? By the time they realize they're in over their heads, they can't be saved. All they know is that they love me, and I'm gone. And I love them. But I had to walk away. We're both victims.
So, you do it knowingly.
Knowingly, yes, sure. That doesn't mean I do it willingly or purposely. I've created complications for them, surely. But nothing they wouldn't have encountered eventually. They have to figure it out for themselves.
They're kids.
Not for long. Not afterwards.
So you know.
You're wrong about this.
Oh, I've never been more right.
If you were sure, you'd be strangling me. Unlike you, a lobster killer, I don't set out to hurt anyone.
Oh,
I act out of love.
Are you really going to try to turn this around on me?
You're the one with murder in your heart.
I haven't hurt anyone.
But you want to. You know you could.
I swear to God,
Or maybe you couldn't. I have nothing to fear from you. You're all talk. Melted butter. You're younger and stronger than me, but you don't act. The church is empty and still you don't lift a hand. You think you know what you know, and you've decided what I deserve. You could finish me off or give me a beating, but we're still talking. What's stopping you? You're not here to blame me or forgive me. You're here to be forgiven. Just say it. Beg God or whoever you pray to. The truth will bring you peace.
I loved you.
Silly boy. I loved your whole family. And the house, the dining room table, being in your family photos, and the hugs. Hugs on the way in, hugs on the way out. I loved it all.
You should stop now.
You wanted to meet the devil. This is what the devil sounds like.
I didn't really mean to blame you for everything.
The fuck you did. The only reason you're here is to shift the blame.
You walked in our front door, sized us up, looked us in the eye, and saw us, and then seduced us all.
Guilty as charged.
That's not love.
There you're wrong.
We needed to be seen. We need to be valued. We followed the warmth and got burned. You burned us.
Did your brother die?
Not yet. He's trying to, but the doctors won't let him.
I'm sorry.
Shut up. I'm not here for your sorrow.
He's a wonderful kid, that
Don't
brother.
you dare talk about him. Or me, either. Don't say his name, don't say mine.
Your mother...
No, I mean it. I've heard enough from you. You listen to me now. I came here to forgive you. I'm tired. I'm tired of being angry.
I don't want your cheap forgiveness.
I'm not doing it for you.
Too bad you can't do it without me.
Oh, the fuck I can't. It's entirely up to me.
It's not. We talked about this. I have to make a sincere act of contrition.
So make one.
Spontaneously? Yeah. I'm better when I've had time to work a few drafts.
You've had decades.
Okay. I've been a monster.
Don't fuck with me.
Fuck with you how? By giving you what you asked for?
Say what you did.
Fine. I acted monstrously. Doesn't make me a monster.
I swear to God, I will.
Oh, no, we've covered that. You're not beating up anyone but yourself. Are we arguing now?
I don't know what we're doing.
Does acting monstrously make me a monster?
Yes.
Does lying make you a liar?
When did I lie?
When did you not?
Name my lies.
Are you sure you're ready for this?
I'm never more ready.
Then you haven't been paying attention. You said you couldn't hear my video. You said it wasn't loud. You said the church was empty.
It is.
It wasn't. That's 3. You said you didn't know about men's magazines. You said my secret was safe with you.
It is.
Why would I trust a liar when all you want to do is expose me?
That's not it at all.
You said you would tell the truth.
I said that to smoke out your lies.
Now I'm losing count. You said you wanted to remain anonymous, but you've done nothing to shield your identity. Shall I go on?
There can't be more.
You said you never met the bishop.
I haven't met the bishop.
That doesn't mean he didn't send you. You said you weren't a police informant.
I'm not a police informant.
That doesn't mean you haven't spoken to them, and it doesn't mean you're not wearing a wire.
I'm not.
Why would I believe you?
I don't know. We're in this together.
But I'm the one telling the truth. You said your father wanted to be rid of you.
He wanted me to be different.
That's not the same thing.
No.
You said you kept things from your mother.
I lied about that. You're right. I told her everything.
About me, for example.
Everything that bothered me about you, yes.
But she didn't believe you.
She couldn't see it. She was blinded by your flattery.
She thought you were a liar.
Maybe.
She thought you were jealous of your brother.
Maybe.
You said you steamed a lobster.
I couldn't do it. It's monstrous.
Am I a monster?
Yes. You've ruined lives.
Yours?
I'm not here about mine.
Oh, yes, you are.
You've killed. Maybe. I don't know. You've certainly crippled.
Have I?
Crippled for life.
Are we talking about your brother now?
Crippled for life. Say it.
The world is full of cripples. Look at you. Crippled with doubt. Cursed with self-hatred. Afraid of the truth. Perpetually wary. Unable to trust anyone. To accept any gesture of love, any offer of help. Thwarted in everything. Sick unto death. You think I don't know that? And you say you're not here about yourself. What will you tell them?
Tell who?
Tell whom?
God damn it, tell who?
Whoever you report to.
Whomever you report to.
Touche.
Do you accept responsibility?
I accept my share.
I'm surprised to hear you say it.
You shouldn't be. I'm not the one in denial. Listen to me. I need to tell you something. You're an object. I don't mean to say you're not a person, but a person is an object. Not just you, me too. All of us. We understand objects. We pick them up. We examine them. If they serve a purpose, we use them. When we're done with them, we put them down. There's nothing cruel about this, nothing unusual, nothing necessarily kind about it either. We use things when we need them. And we get used. People find us useful. They find us interesting. They pick us up. It gladdens us. We like to be seen as useful. Later, they put us down. Sometimes we're not the same after they've used us. We pick up a donut. We put it down. It's not the same donut. There's a bite missing.
People are donuts.
You call them lobsters.
Have you kept in touch with them?
What do you mean?
Have you checked in on all those boys you mentored, those boys who role modeled you, to see how they're doing, follow their accomplishments. They were so important to you.
Who would do that?
I didn't think so. You had to flee, didn't you? Time and again. As soon as they figured out what you really wanted, you made yourself scarce. Did your brother die?
How would I know?
You owe it to him to know.
You're right. It's cowardly to flee. No penance will wash clean what I did to him.
It wasn't just him you harmed. We all loved you. You ate at our table. We exchanged gifts. You called our mother Mom. Entered the house without knocking and spent time with whoever was home. Do you not feel the gravity of that?
It's inexcusable.
Wrong answer.
What's the right answer?
You loved us, damn it.
I said that I did. You don't seem to listen.
You must have. You put in too much time. It can't all have been plotting and misdirection. Was it?
What do you want me to say?
And even if it was, you did a lot of good. We cherished you. You lavished attention on the ones who really needed it. We felt seen. My mother was honored. A man of the church stops by unannounced, out of family affection. She had never felt closer to God. You were witty, handsome, intelligent. You should have heard her. Charming, educated beyond necessity. You were that and more, and you chose her and her family to call your own. You specialized her. You know that.
It's all an act.
It's not an act.
You know best.
She would never have let my brother go on a road trip all the way across the country with anyone else but you. You seduced her into trusting you with her lovely, vulnerable son who thought he was special to you.
She would have sent you too. But I wanted him.
You sick fucking
I
bastard.
didn't have to ask. She gave him to me, almost forced him on me.
Don't you dare.
She put him in that car out of vanity to feel special.
I came here to forgive you.
It's a con, son. Everybody has a part to play.
It's not a con.
She was conned. You've been conned.
I don't accept that. You found out something special about each of us and amplified it back. You cared about us enough to pay attention. We watched for you. We listened for your car.
If there were a manual for con artists, that would be page 1.
Tell me something true.
Everything I say is true. I'm not the liar. I'm the monster.
Enough of that. Say it. You loved the time you spent with us. It wasn't all wickedness and want.
Fair enough. I owe you that much. Your family was a joy to visit. As jobs go, hanging out with 8 smart kids and a substitute mom is as good as it gets. That doesn't make you special. Every big family has a sporty type and a poet and a head case. Maybe a musician, a philosopher, and a freak. Most families have a lesbian, too, or a twink, closeted or otherwise. You know the numbers. Which one are you? And every big family in every parish has a kid who thinks he might have a vocation and wants to befriend a priest.
I'm feeling sick.
You can't just walk in as a stranger and drive off with the one that you want on a road trip across the country. You have to date the family. Sometimes for years.
I don't want to hear this.
Yours wasn't the only family either. Not by a long shot.
Enough.
You said you wanted the truth.
I've changed my mind. If it was all a plot, I don't want to know it. I want your affection to have been genuine.
I was important to you.
You know you were.
I still am. You can't let go of me.
I wish you had never happened. I wish you hadn't given me books. I wish I hadn't tried to like the music you liked. I wish I hadn't told you things.
What do you want from me?
I need you to tell me you loved us.
No, you don't.
I do.
You don't. You need me to tell you I loved you. You're jealous I didn't choose you.
You almost killed him.
Almost.
He's at Mercy Hospital. Again. Another stop on his farewell tour. You should catch the show while you can. As soon as he's healthy enough to be released, he'll probably try again. You know the hospital.
It's not in my parish.
Not in your parish.
He's not my responsibility.
Somebody's responsible.
And you blame me. It's all so clear to you.
I want to know about the trip.
The trip you should have been on.
That's ridiculous.
Don't deny it. You wanted to go. You thought of it as your trip.
You are incredibly sick.
I saw you in the window often.
What window?
Your bedroom window above the driveway. I saw you watching when I came to visit him.
You'll say anything, won't you?
You probably eavesdropped from the upstairs landing.
Yeah, you have a rich fantasy life.
Nothing like yours, I imagine, with your panoramic view of the neighborhood. How much time did you spend up there, listening in, looking in on other people's lives? What secrets are you hiding, huh? Are you sure you didn't really smash someone's knuckles? Never mind. You wouldn't tell me, liar. You'd say, everybody hates the kid next door, but nobody actually picks up a saw and takes his head off. But is it really so inconceivable? Of course, nobody does saw off the head of the kid next door until somebody does saw off the head of the kid next door. And when somebody saws off the head of the kid next door, a kid who clearly deserved to have his head sawed off, is it because this person who sawed off the head of the kid next door was the first person to want to saw off the head of the kid next door? I'm guessing not. I'm guessing the person who saws off the head of the kid next door is the person who lacked willpower to resist sawing off his head, the way you lack height, for example. Or I lack, for the sake of another example, youth or beauty. We lack willpower for the same reason we lack height or the ability to fly. Should the guy who sawed off the head of the kid next door have tried harder to resist? Sure. Should he have had shin implants to make himself taller? That's a decision for a jury of his peers. Should he have exercised his shoulder blades and grown wings and flown? No. That's too much to ask, and you know it. He didn't have that ability. He wasn't given that gift. All I'm saying is that the kid next door is safer with you because it doesn't occur to you to saw his head off. Not because you're better, you're not. You lack imagination or opportunity, or you were born with more of what it takes to resist. Maybe you want to do something else with the kid next door.
There was no kid next door. Well, not while we lived there.
But you were upstairs lurking, weren't you? Listening into our travel plans? You don't remember helping us to prepare?
I remember perfectly.
You were shameless, lobbying for an invitation. We used your maps. We followed your itinerary. We listened to your mixtapes all the way out.
But you took him.
You were a big part of that trip.
I see what you're doing.
I'm relating a parable. That's what priests do.
Sure. All priests tell the parable of the sawn-off head. You're blaming me for...
Not blaming.
Implicating me with your disgusting...
Only insofar as it's true.
I'm not your accomplice.
You prefer the term pimp?
I want to know about the trip.
No, you don't.
You owe me.
No, I don't.
He's told me things.
Take his word for it. Why would you believe my version?
Because you're proud to admit to everything.
You want the whole disturbing story.
I want a true story, disturbing or not. Just leave me out of it.
But you're such a big part of it. Yeah. I got him into a sleeping bag.
This sounds right.
Technically, 2 sleeping bags zipped together.
I know this part.
How did he describe it to you?
Camping in the desert is extreme. Days are like a furnace, nights you could freeze. It was reasonable to huddle in one bag for warmth.
And that made sense to you.
Why wouldn't it?
What innocent boy climbs into a sleeping bag with an older man if all he wants is warmth?
Are you trying to tell me?
Oh, you don't know what you want. You need a villain, so I must have corrupted him. But how do you explain the affection you still feel for a child molester, if that's what you think I am? And why didn't you protect him when you could? Did you really think that all I wanted was the warm embrace of your family? And if I did, wasn't it your brother who corrupted me?
I think I've heard enough.
You started this. I got my hand in his underpants. We got that far. It wasn't his doing. I've been planning it for months.
Stop now.
You think you know something. You don't know anything. You think behavior can be controlled and that every action is the result of a choice. As if there is no such thing as compulsion.
That's enough.
He didn't flinch. He didn't so much as breathe. He didn't want to encourage me, but he didn't stop me either. Where's God when I need him? My opinion?
I don't care.
He wanted to see how far I would go.
God did.
They both did.
How far did you go?
Are you really asking?
No.
So you don't want to know. You come all this way just to quit before finding out once and for all. What does he say about how far we went?
I do.
You must not believe him, or else you wouldn't be asking me.
I need to know.
So ask. Say, did you fuck him? You admit that's the question.
Yes.
Ask it.
Did you fuck him?
No. Does it matter?
Of course it matters.
No, it doesn't. The damage is the same either way, you know that. He doesn't know who to blame.
You could tell him. I'll give you his room number.
We drove nearly 1,000 miles home without speaking a word.
Did you see him again?
Once.
He says you didn't.
He doesn't respect the truth the way I do, the way you do. Ask him again. Remind him that he came to visit me in the rectory. I have a room upstairs along the hallway with the rooms for the other priests. He sat on the bed and I sat on a chair. And we both waited for each other to say something important. I left the door standing open so he would feel safe. He didn't look safe. He looked like a kid who had been beaten and was waiting for another beating. Pathetic, really. I couldn't remember what attracted me to him in the first place.
Shut up.
He said he often dreamed of becoming a priest. I said he'd be better off without it. He said we'd all be better off without it. And that's as close as he came to blaming anybody for anything. And that was it. Until another priest came down the hall and stopped at my door and looked in. He saw your brother on my bed and me on the chair beside him, and he gave us an unmistakable look. You'd know that look in a minute. Anyone would know that look in a minute. The look said, "Nice. You got a cute one."
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Not exactly, but I get your meaning.
Did he beat you senseless?
He did not. He vomited, quite deliberately. First across my pillow and bedspread, then enough of my Bible to ruin it forever, and the rest directly into my lap. He was a rank, voluminous fire hose of indignation and disgust. Most impressive. Nothing to say?
I wanted to forgive you.
So you said.
I don't see how I can now.
Do it for yourself. Simple, really.
I want to forgive you.
No, thank you. I know what I've done. I understand the costs to others, the costs to me. I find it unforgivable. Why can't you? Can you absolve me?
That's not my job.
No, but just for fun. You got somewhere better to be? Play God. What would my penance be?
Make a full confession of my brother. Acknowledge you're guilty. It's not enough to tell me.
I see. You haven't thought this through. Let me help. It would be pointless to tell him, really. He knows the whole story, start to finish. And even if I made a full confession, I would have to be contrite.
You called yourself a monster.
Yes, and I am. I did what monsters do. God's fault, really. He gave me this compulsion with none of the willpower to resist it. I think your brother would understand.
Then tell him yourself. You know where to find him.
We are who we were born. Bobby, or who others made us into. None of this is our doing.
Then tell him that. Tell him whatever you want. I can't afford to care anymore.
Search your own heart, then. What is it you don't have the strength to resist?
Go to hell.
If there is a hell, you mean? Jesus never went on record one way or the other, you know, on heaven or hell. A careful reading of the relevant texts will show that he didn't believe in heaven or hell, for us anyway. When he mentions a kingdom of God, what he most likely means is an earthly kingdom with God as king, sort of a Garden of Eden Part 2, with the righteous resurrected as participants. Hell is just this distance from the divine. Is that the way it feels to you, lobster boy? No matter. Apparently, this distance from the divine is the most insufferable torment that the gospel writers could come up with. Eternity on hold, with a Muzak version of Muskrat Love. Unpleasant, to be sure, but hellish? Not to mention that the dead no longer exist, but they're supposed to suffer? I don't know. Insubstantiality as torment. Getting back to Jesus, he didn't believe in hell at all. Never mentions it. The only eternal damnation he mentions is this: not being invited to the after party.
Father.
You're still here. I thought you left. Let's not get sentimental. I know we have a history, but we're still two men in charge of our own destinies, with exceptions, as noted by me.
I saw you come back.
Come back from where?
From your life-changing road trip.
You saw no such thing.
I did. From my perch at the upstairs window. You dropped my brother like a load of trash and fled.
After 1,000 miles of silent recrimination.
Which you richly deserve.
I made him a man.
By killing the boy. Say you're sorry.
I am sorry.
Say you want forgiveness. Say you want justice.
I've received justice. My life is agony.
Don't say another word.
Oh, you don't understand.
No, I mean it. Stop talking. Father Michael Zacharias, you have the right to remain silent.
When have I ever taken advantage of that?
Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. I have to get through the whole statement. I should start from the top.
You said you weren't police.
I said I wasn't cooperating with them.
Liar!
If you want better answers, ask better questions.
None of this is admissible.
Well, it won't help you. I'm not the only plaintiff. Not by a long shot. I just had some personal misgivings to work through. Gentlemen, he's all yours. Thank you, everybody, so much. Have a beautiful evening.